I'm Sarah, 35, living in a quiet suburb just outside Columbus, Ohio, where the houses have big backyards and old oak trees line the streets like silent guardians. My kids, Ben, who's 8, and Emily, 6, are always zipping around on their bikes, helmets bouncing as they race the neighbors' kids. Weekends here smell like charcoal and burgers. BBQ season never really ends. I used to think this was it, the American dream. A cozy house, 2 kids, a husband who'd grill steaks on Sundays. I didn't need a mansion or a fancy car. I just wanted us, me, Mark, and the kids, happy. But life has a way of ripping that dream apart, doesn't it? 10 years ago, Mark was this goofy guy who'd burn toast but still make me coffee every morning. He'd crack these dumb jokes that'd have me laughing so hard my stomach hurt. I remember our first date, him spilling soda all over his shirt and laughing it off like it was nothing. I thought, this is the guy I'm going to grow old with. He felt like home. We got married, had Ben, then Emily, and I believed we were building something unbreakable. Forever, God, what a fool I was. Forever's just a word until it's not. After the kids, my body changed. 2 pregnancies will do that to you. My jeans got tighter, my hips wider. I'd tie my hair up in a messy bun just to get through the day. I didn't care much about looking like a supermodel. I was a mom, a wife. I thought Mark loved me for that, for the meatloaf I'd make on Tuesdays, for the way I'd braid Emily's hair before ballet. I thought he saw me, the real me. Turns out, I was blind. I was so busy keeping our family together, I didn't see the cracks forming right under my feet. Our life was good, or so I thought. I'd shuttle Ben to baseball practice, cheering from the bleachers as he swung his bat, dust kicking up around the diamond. Emily had her ballet classes, twirling in her pink tutu, her little face lit up with pride. Mark worked a steady office job crunching numbers for some insurance company. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. On weekends, he'd mow the lawn, sweat soaking his t-shirt, while I'd plant flowers in the garden. We'd end the day on the couch, kids sprawled out watching Toy Story for the millionth time. I'd lean into him, his arm around me, and think, this is enough. I was proud of us, of this little world we'd built. Have you ever felt like you're holding something perfect, like it's yours to keep forever? But then, one day, everything shifted. Mark went for his annual checkup. The doctor said his cholesterol was through the roof. Too many beers and burgers, I guess. They told him to hit the gym, eat better, get his heart in check. I was all for it. A healthier Mark meant a longer life with us, right? I started cooking leaner meals, chicken breast instead of ribs, salads with that fancy kale stuff. I even bought him a water bottle with a motivational quote on it like, crush it. He laughed, said I was being extra, but I could tell he was excited. I thought the gym would be good for him, for all of us. I had no idea it'd be the thing to tear us apart. It started small. He'd come home later saying the gym was packed. He'd talk about these new friends he'd made, people with names like Tyler and Jessica, who were super into fitness. I didn't think much of it. I was too busy packing school lunches, helping Ben with math homework, or sewing a last-minute costume for Emily's recital. But looking back, I should have seen it. The way he'd check his phone more, smile at texts I didn't see. The way he'd spend longer in the mirror, flexing muscles I didn't even know he had. I was so caught up in our routine, our perfect little suburban life, that I missed the signs. Have you ever thought your world was rock solid, only to realize it's built on sand? I'd lie awake sometimes, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I was imagining things. Mark was still here, wasn't he? He still kissed me goodnight, still helped with the dishes. But something felt off, like a song you love but the notes are wrong. I'd tell myself it was nothing, just stress from work or the kids. I'd push it down, focus on keeping our family humming along. I was proud of us, damn it. Proud of the way Ben would high-five me after a game. Proud of Emily's giggles when I tickled her. Proud of the home we'd made, with its creaky floors and fridge covered in kid drawings. I thought Mark was proud too. I thought he was mine. Now sitting here telling you this, I can still feel that ache in my chest. That moment when I realized my perfect life was a lie. It's funny how one doctor's visit, one stupid gym membership can unravel everything you've built. I used to think happiness was something you could hold on to, like a photo you frame and hang on the wall. But happiness is fragile, and mine was about to shatter. All because of a place called Peak Pulse, a trainer named Jessica, and a man I thought I knew. Have you ever had that moment where you realize the life you love is slipping through your fingers and there's nothing you can do to stop it? I'm still reeling from how my perfect suburban life in Columbus, Ohio started to crack. I told you about Mark, my husband, who got a wake up call from his doctor to hit the gym. I thought it'd be good for him, for us. I was wrong. That gym, Peak Pulse, wasn't just a place to sweat. It was where my world began to unravel. Have you ever watched someone you love turn into a stranger right in front of you? Mark signed up at Peak Pulse, this fancy gym downtown where everyone's got AirPods and a protein shake. He hired Jessica, a 25-year-old trainer with a body like she stepped out of a fitness magazine. Her Instagram was all #fitness goals, her stories full of smoothie bowls and sunrise runs. I didn't think much of it at first. Mark was excited, talking about deadlifts and macros, and I wanted to support him. I was swamped with mom duties, packing Ben's lunches, driving Emily to ballet, keeping the house from falling apart. But I made time to learn about healthy cooking. I'd spend hours Googling recipes, grilling chicken, tossing quinoa salads, even though I was dead tired. "Anything for you, babe," I'd say, handing him a plate. He'd smile, but it wasn't the same smile I fell for 10 years ago. 3 months in, Mark was a different man. His beer gut was gone, replaced by a six-pack that looked airbrushed. His arms bulged in his new Nike tees. I was proud of him, you know? But it wasn't just his body, his whole vibe changed. He'd spend hours in front of the mirror, flexing, snapping selfies for Instagram. His captions were cringy. #no excuses, #be your best self. Like he was auditioning for a motivational poster. I'd scroll through his posts, seeing likes from Jessica and some guy named Tyler, a gym bro who'd comment stuff like beast mode. I tried to laugh it off, but it felt off. This wasn't my Mark, the guy who'd burn toast and joke about it. This was someone else. Then came the first stab. One night, I was in my old OSU sweatshirt folding laundry on the couch. Mark looked at me, his eyes cold, and said, "Sarah, you're so lazy. Look at Jessica. She takes care of herself." My heart stopped. Lazy? Me? The woman who'd been running our house, raising our kids, cooking his damn kale salads? I felt like he'd slapped me. "I'm just tired, Mark," I mumbled, swallowing the hurt. "Work's been rough," he snapped, grabbing his gym bag and heading out for a late session. I sat there, staring at the TV, Emily's crayons scattered on the coffee table, and wondered what the hell just happened. Have you ever had someone you trust make you feel like you're nothing? It got worse. Mark started staying out later, saying he was training or meeting the fitness crew. Jessica's name kept popping up, along with Tyler's. He'd come home smelling like expensive cologne, not sweat. Our joint credit card statements showed charges I didn't recognize. $200 for Nike gear, $80 for whey protein, $150 for some team dinner at a steakhouse I'd never been to. I asked him about it once, my voice shaky. "It's for my health, Sarah," he barked. "You wouldn't get it." I backed off, but my gut was screaming. I wasn't stupid. I knew something was wrong, but I still wanted to believe in him. In us. Nights were the hardest. I'd lie in bed, Mark's side empty, and scroll through Jessica's Instagram. Her stories were all gym clips, her laughing, Mark spotting her on squats, their hands brushing. My stomach twisted. Was I crazy? Was this just my tired mom brain overthinking? I'd zoom in on her perfect smile, her toned arms, and feel like garbage. Was this what Mark wanted now? Someone who looked like that, not a mom in stretched out yoga pants? I'd shut my phone off, tears burning, and tell myself to stop. But I couldn't. I was losing him, and I didn't know why. I needed someone to talk to, so I joined this Facebook group called Sisters Rising. It was full of women who'd been through hell, cheating husbands, broken marriages. I posted about Mark, my hands shaking as I typed. The responses flooded in. "Sarah, you're not crazy," one woman wrote. "He's changing, not you." Another said, "Trust your gut. You're stronger than you think." Reading their words, I felt a spark of something. Hope, maybe? For the first time, I didn't feel alone. Those women, strangers from across the country, gave me courage. I started to see I wasn't the problem. Mark was. But I was still hanging on, trying to fix things. I'd wait up for him, make his favorite protein smoothies, ask about his day. He'd grunt, barely look at me, his phone buzzing with notifications. I'd smile through the pain, tell myself it was a phase. I'd picture us back on the couch, watching Netflix with the kids, Ben's head on my lap, Emily's giggles filling the room. I wanted that Sarah and Mark back. I wanted my family. But one morning, everything changed. Mark walked into the kitchen, his face hard, and said something that broke me in two. I wasn't ready for it, not even close. Have you ever felt your whole world collapse with just a few words? My world just got turned upside down in my own kitchen in Columbus, Ohio. I told you how Mark changed, how the gym and Jessica, his trainer, pulled him away from me. I tried to hold on, to believe in the family we built, but one Saturday morning, everything I thought I knew shattered. Have you ever felt the ground disappear beneath you? Like the life you love is just gone? I was flipping pancakes for Ben and Emily, the smell of maple syrup filling our sunny kitchen. The kids were giggling, fighting over who got the biggest pancake. It was one of those moments that felt normal, like we were still us. Then Mark walked in, wearing his shiny new Nike tracksuit, his face hard as stone. He didn't sit down, didn't grab a coffee like he used to. He just stood there, hands in his pockets, and said, "Sarah, I found the best version of myself. I need a woman who matches that. I want a divorce." My spatula froze midair. It was like someone kicked me in the chest. I couldn't breathe. "What?" I whispered, my voice barely there. He didn't even blink. "Jessica gets me," he said. "She respects my hustle. You're just comfortable, Sarah. You're not enough." Then he grabbed his gym bag and left, saying he had a photo shoot with Jessica for Peak Pulse. I stood there, spatula in hand, syrup dripping onto the counter, tears streaming down my face. 10 years, 2 kids, all those late-night Netflix binges, gone just like that. I tried to keep it together for the kids. "Mom, why's Dad leaving?" Ben asked, his big eyes searching mine. I forced a smile, said, "He's just busy, buddy," and sent them to play outside. But inside, I was breaking. I sank to the floor, the tile cold against my knees, and sobbed. How did we get here? Was I really not enough? I thought of all the times I'd stayed up late sewing Emily's ballet costumes, all the mornings I'd packed Mark's lunches with little notes. I gave everything to this family, and he threw it away for some Instagram fitness queen. A few days later, I saw it. Their betrayal, plastered online for the world to see. I was scrolling Instagram, something I did too much those days, when I found it. A new account called Fit Couple Goals. It was Mark and Jessica, all tanned and toned, posting workout videos like they were some power couple. They were doing deadlifts together, her hand on his arm, laughing like they were in love. Their bio said, "Fueling love and fitness #fit couple goals." They even had a video talking about keeping the spark alive in relationships, as if I was the one who'd let ours die. I watched it 3 times, my hands shaking, my heart ripping apart. 10 years of marriage traded for hashtags and protein shakes. I wanted to scream, to throw my phone across the room. Instead, I just cried, silent so the kids wouldn't hear. I hugged Emily that night. Her little body curled against mine, and promised myself I wouldn't let her or Ben see me fall apart. But God, it hurt. I kept asking myself, what did I do wrong? Was I too frumpy, too focused on being a mom? Did I miss something, some sign that Mark was slipping away? I replayed our life together, our wedding, when he cried saying his vows, the night Ben was born, when he held my hand through every contraction. Where did that Mark go? But then it hit me, like a slap. I didn't do this. He did. I was a damn good wife, a damn good mom. I wasn't the one who broke us. I needed to pull myself together, so I went to a support group at our local church. It was just a small room, folding chairs, and a dozen women who'd been through the same hell. One woman, Linda, grabbed my hand and said, "Sarah, you fight. Not for him, but for you and your kids." Her words lit something in me. I wasn't just a betrayed wife. I was Ben and Emily's mom, and I'd be damned if I let Mark's selfishness ruin their lives. I left that meeting with my head a little higher, my heart a little stronger. I wasn't ready to give up. Sitting here now, telling you this, I can still feel the sting of that morning, the way Mark's words cut me open. But I also feel the fire that started burning inside me. I wasn't going to sit in that kitchen and cry forever. I had to protect Ben and Emily, and yeah, I had to protect myself too. Mark thought he could walk away, start his shiny new life, and leave me in the dust. He was wrong. I was about to show him just how strong I could be. Have you ever had that moment where you realize you're done being the victim and it's time to fight back? I'm Sarah, picking up the pieces after Mark, my husband of 10 years, shattered our family in Columbus, Ohio. His betrayal with Jessica, his gym trainer, and his cold demand for a divorce left me reeling. But sitting in that church support group, hearing those women tell me to fight, I found a spark. I wasn't going to let Mark and his hash-fit couple goals nonsense ruin me or my kids, Ben and Emily. It was time to take back my life. Have you ever felt that moment when you're done crying and ready to kick some ass? I started with a lawyer, Miss Evans, a no-nonsense woman in her 50s who'd been through a divorce herself. I found her through a recommendation from the Sisters Rising group. Her office was small, with a coffee-stained desk and a view of downtown Columbus. But when I sat down and spilled my story, Mark's insults Jessica, the Instagram account, she leaned forward, grabbed my hand, and said, "Sarah, I've been where you are. You're stronger than you know, and we're going to make this right." Her voice was steady, like she'd seen it all and knew exactly how to win. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I had a shot. I got to work gathering evidence. I pulled our joint credit card statements, my hands shaking as I highlighted charges. $300 for a dinner at a swanky restaurant I'd never been to, $500 for Under Armour gear, $1,200 for a fitness retreat in Chicago. Mark had been living large, and it wasn't just his money. It was ours. The money I'd scrimped to save for Ben's baseball camp and Emily's ballet lessons. I found voicemails he'd left me, his voice dripping with disdain. "Sarah, you're so boring. No ambition." I saved every one. The jackpot came from Olivia, a tech-savvy mom from Sisters Rising. She'd somehow gotten hold of Instagram DMs between Mark and Jessica. Don't ask me how, but I owe her big. In those messages, Mark called me the dead weight and bragged about using our savings to build the Fit Couple Goals empire with Jessica. They even planned how to cut me out financially. Reading those words felt like a knife, but it also lit a fire. They thought I was weak. They were about to learn otherwise. In Ohio, divorce starts with mediation, a sit-down where you try to settle things before court. I walked into that conference room, a gray box with fluorescent lights, feeling like I was stepping into a boxing ring. Mark and Jessica strutted in like they owned the place, decked out in matching athletic wear, all smug and glowing. Mark's lawyer, some slick guy in a cheap suit, went on about Mark's personal growth and how he deserved an equitable split because he'd invested in his brand. I sat there, silent, my hands folded, Miss Evans beside me like a guard dog. Inside, I was raging, but I kept my cool. I knew we had them. Miss Evans didn't waste time. She slid a folder across the table, her voice calm but razor sharp. "Let's talk about Mark's investments," she said. She laid out the credit card statements, the voicemails, and the knockout punch, those DMs. The mediator, a stern woman with glasses, read them slowly. One message from Mark said, "Sarah's too dumb to notice. We'll transfer the savings to our new account." Another from Jessica, "Can't wait to ditch the boring housewife." The room went dead quiet. Mark's face turned ghost white, his jaw tight. Jessica stared at the floor, her perfect ponytail suddenly looking pathetic. The mediator looked up, her eyes narrowing. "This changes things," she said. I caught Miss Evans' eye, and she gave me a tiny nod. We'd done it. The mediation wrapped fast after that. The evidence was a slam dunk. I got full custody of Ben and Emily. Mark didn't even fight it, probably too embarrassed. He was ordered to pay child support and reimburse the money he'd blown on Jessica's lifestyle. Our house, the one with the oak trees and the backyard where the kids played, stayed mine. Mark's precious Fit Couple Goals account? It imploded. Someone from Sisters Rising leaked the DMs online, and the internet did the rest. Columbus locals tore them apart, and Hashmark the Liar trended on Twitter for a hot minute. I didn't start it, but I won't lie. Seeing Mark and Jessica's brand crash and burn felt good, real good. Walking out of that mediation, I felt like I'd shed 100 pounds. For months, I'd been drowning in pain, doubting myself, wondering if I was enough. But standing there with Miss Evans giving me a proud smile, I realized I was more than enough. I was a mom who'd fought for her kids, a woman who'd stared down betrayal and came out swinging. Ben and Emily were safe, our home was secure, and Mark's lies were exposed for the world to see. I wasn't just surviving, I was winning. Have you ever felt that rush when you know you've beaten the odds? When the people who hurt you get exactly what they deserve? I'm standing taller after the fight of my life in Columbus, Ohio. Mark's betrayal, his fling with Jessica, and his attempt to ditch me and our kids, Ben and Emily, nearly broke me. But with Miss Evans and the Sisters Rising crew in my corner, I clawed my way through mediation, kept our home, and got custody. Mark's precious Fit Couple Goals empire crashed and burned, and I was finally free. Now, it's about what comes next. For me, for my kids, for the Sarah I'm rediscovering. Have you ever felt like you've been through hell, but somehow you're ready to build something new? A few weeks after mediation, Jessica dumped Mark. Guess he wasn't so valuable when without our family's money or his Instagram clout. One evening, he showed up at our doorstep, looking like a ghost of the man I married. His Nike tracksuit was wrinkled, his eyes sunken. "Sarah," he said, voice cracking, "I miss the kids. I miss us. Can we try again?" I stood there, the porch light buzzing, Ben and Emily's laughter drifting from the living room where they were watching Moana. Part of me, the old Sarah, remembered the good times. Mark grilling burgers, us curled up on the couch, the kids asleep between us. But then I thought of his words in the kitchen, calling me not enough, and those DMs where he mocked me. I thought of Ben's confused eyes when Mark walked out, Emily's tiny hand in mine as I cried. No way was I letting that man near my kids' hearts again. "Mark," I said, my voice steady, "you made your choice. Me and the kids? We're building something new, and you're not part of it." My Couple Goals empire crashed and burned, and I was finally free. Now, it's about what comes next. For me, for my kids, for the Sarah I'm rediscovering. Have you ever felt like you've been through hell, but somehow you're ready to build something new? A few weeks after mediation, Jessica dumped Mark. Guess he wasn't so valuable without our family's money or his Instagram clout. One evening, he showed up at our doorstep looking like a ghost of the man I married. His Nike tracksuit was wrinkled, his eyes sunken. "Sarah," he said, voice cracking, "I miss the kids. I miss us. Can we try again?" I stood there, the porch light buzzing, Ben and Emily's laughter drifting from the living room where they were watching Moana. Part of me, the old Sarah, remembered the good times. Mark grilling burgers, us curled up on the couch, the kids asleep between us. But then I thought of his words in the kitchen, calling me not enough, and those DMs where he mocked me. I thought of Ben's confused eyes when Mark walked out, Emily's tiny hand in mine as I cried. No way was I letting that man near my kids' hearts again. "Mark," I said, my voice steady, "you made your choice. Me and the kids? We're building something new, and you're not part of it." I closed the door, my heart pounding but light, like I'd finally let go of a weight I'd carried too long. I didn't hate him, not anymore. I just felt done. I walked back to the living room, hugged Ben and Emily, and we sang along to How Far I'll Go, like nothing else mattered. That moment, with my kids' warmth against me, was the first time I felt truly free. I started rebuilding piece by piece. I signed up for yoga at the community center, not to look like Jessica, but because it made me feel strong. The first class, I wobbled through Downward Dog, laughing with the other moms as we tried not to fall. It wasn't about six-packs or hashtags. It was about me, finding my balance. I also started volunteering at Ben and Emily's school, helping with art projects or reading to their classes. Seeing Emily's face light up when I showed her class how to paint a sunset, or Ben's shy grin when I cheered at his baseball game, filled holes in my heart I didn't know were there. Those moments reminded me who I was. A mom, yes, but also a woman with dreams, with strength. One night, after the kids were asleep, I opened my laptop and started a blog. Not for fame or followers, but for me. I called it Starting Over in Suburbia and wrote about everything. The pain of Mark's betrayal, the thrill of winning mediation, the small joys of rediscovering myself. I wrote about the oak trees outside our house, the smell of Emily's crayons, the way Ben's laugh could make a bad day disappear. To my surprise, people read it. Women from Sisters Rising commented, saying my words gave them courage. Strangers emailed me, sharing their own stories of heartbreak and healing. It wasn't about going viral. It was about finding my voice, the one Mark tried to silence. Life isn't perfect now, but it's ours. Ben's still knocking it out of the park at baseball, and Emily's twirling in her ballet classes, her pink tutu bouncing. We still have BBQs with the neighbors, and I'm the one grilling now, flipping burgers like a pro. The house feels different. Quieter without Mark, but fuller with us. I've hung new pictures on the walls, ones the kids painted, bright splashes of color that scream hope. I'm not the Sarah who thought her world ended in that kitchen. I'm stronger, braver, and, yeah, I'll say it, happier. Looking back, I see how far I've come. A year ago, I thought Mark's betrayal was the end of my story. I was wrong. It was the beginning. I learned that happiness isn't a husband or a picket fence. It's the courage to keep going, to choose yourself and your kids over the pain. My American dream isn't about Mark anymore. It's me, Ben, and Emily, building a life that's messy, real, and ours. I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving, and I'm proud as hell. Have you ever realized, after the worst storm of your life, that you're still standing, ready to chase a new kind of happy?